Good morning to all of you. I am Dr. Faninder, consultant pulmonologist. I would like to give a brief overview, which should be an awareness type of a lecture to the general public. As you all know, COVID is a serious disease, a serious viral disease, but it can be easily managed in about 85% of people and in the outpatient setting or at the home setting. Okay, but the remaining 15% need some attention and better care, and of that, 5% will be much critical, and then in that 5%, some 2 to 3% will be dying. So this is the overview of the effect of COVID on the population, and you all know it has killed lots of number of dog patients as well as the doctors who are trying to care the patients. So knowing about the seriousness of this COVID, and you all know right now there is no cure for this particular COVID disease. So in fact, one should be very vigilant about the symptoms, and one should be very well knowing about these symptoms. Symptoms are sometimes not really marked, like sometimes, like the cough, fever, or breathing difficulty. But they can be very subtle. They can be very subtle in the form of body aches, or a rash, or a headache, or sometimes joint pains, and then pain abdomen, and diarrhea. So keeping all this in mind, any change in health, say for example lassitude or lethargy or extreme weakness. So when do you ascribe all this to COVID? It is the scenario. Like for example, somebody whom you have exposed is known to be affected by COVID. For example, you have traveled with your friend, and next day or the next day he was said to be positive, and then immediately you had a doubt that you may be positive, though you may have no symptoms, but the scenario wise, as you have got exposed, there is a likely chance that you can be positive. Similarly, you have you are caring some person and you are traveling with that person, and you wanted to take that person to the doctor who is COVID positive, and the patient is COVID positive. One of your relative, maybe you're a friend or a relative, and you're exposed to that particular patient, and invariably you should have a thought that you may also be positive. But don't undermine that you are never positive, or don't think that you may not be positive, because there are some situations where a person has taken for the care or a consultation to a pulmonologist, one of his relatives, along with his parents, and the person who is already known positive is improving with the doctor's treatment. But on the other hand, the two persons who are in the car and who got exposed to the patient while they traveling, they are likely to get positive. They are likely to get infected. So, but when they ignore it, saying that no, it was a brief period and then there are less chances, or whatever is their thought, they may land in a serious problem. This really happened. This is a practical example. So, despite the idea that they can be positive, they are sometimes reluctant to get the test done. Sometimes they are careless to say that they are not having any symptoms, and sometimes they are careless when the test has come negative, saying that they are negative and then there is no problem for them. But they have to repeat the test, or the time at which the test is done is also very crucial and important. So if you have got done the test on the day of fever or the day of the first symptom, you may be getting a negative report, and which you may feel complacent that you are negative. So you may feel complacent that the test is negative, and once the test is negative, you may feel that you are negative and you don't want to retest it. But it's not so. What I tell people is, you may be ignoring the COVID, but COVID will not ignore you if it has infected you. So naturally, another test may prove you are positive. Then it might be very late also, very late. And sometimes you may be manifesting yourself with a breathing difficulty and SAT-STOP. That SAT-STOP means oxygen concentration or saturation coming down. So you may be in a very helpless state seeking for help, and you may be landing in an emergency room. These are all practicals. These are all done by educated, well-educated people and sometimes doctors. And this is how the things are going on. So not only that, one should be well aware of the symptoms, and also one should not be having a negative attitude that it cannot be COVID or I cannot get infected. So having a high index of suspicion always helps you, that you may be detected early and then save yourself and your family. Okay, let us come to the next scenario. Now you are tested positive, and what you wanted to do, you have to seek the consultation from a service center, either from the private services or the government. Depending upon the place where you stay, the government has every protocol to serve you and keep you well and cure you or treat you. So in the private setting, what you need to do is, you have to approach the doctor and follow his advice. Either it could be based on your oxygen saturation, or based on your respiratory rate, or based on your severity of the symptoms. The doctor may advise you to take some medicines, and then he may be advising you to stay at home and get isolated and get all the requirements from your family members. If that is the case, you please follow it. But if the doctor warns you that your tests are showing some differences and you have falls in the saturations and you need to get admitted in such and such a case, it's very prudent to follow the doctor's advice. And you all know, in any country, in any place in the world, in the time of pandemic, which is in peak, there is scarcity of the beds available. So you may resort to the domiciliary treatment protocol if it is feasible and you have an oxygen support system. If that is the case, your doctor will definitely advise you to maintain yourself at home, and as and when required, be vigilant, and as and when required, you need to get admitted into a hospital setting. So if these things, these steps are followed properly, the burden of managing and the risk for the life are very, 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 very minimized. So, an overview about the tests. What is the immediate step? Or you can go for the RAT, rapid antigen test, which has its own limitations. That means the people who are tested positive, all of them who are getting tested, though positive, it may show negative. That is called false negative. Based on that, you may think that you are not infected. As I told you, it all depends on the time when it is tested. On the day of the fever, it may be negative. So you get tested it on the third day and get tested it on before the seventh day. And after that, maybe we doubt. It may be negative. That is a false negative. Similarly, the capacity or the sensitivity of the test to detect is sometimes around varying in between 40 to 50 to 60% for the rapid antigen test. So, keeping in mind the possibility that there can be a false negative test report, you should be vigilant that at the same time have a retesting, or you can corroborate or you can get more information from the other tests advised by your doctor. And sometimes he may be advising you the HRCT scan to note how much damage is done to your lungs. In that record, the severity can be also be scored from mild, moderate, or severe. If the score is given as 8 by 25, it comes under mild variety, and below 15, it comes under 15 by 25 comes under a moderate variety, and above 25, above 15 to 25, it comes under the severe grading. So in this accord, it only guides the doctor and the patient that your lungs to what extent are involved. But the main problem with COVID is they may not be really correlating with the body's immune response, how you are responding to COVID. So that is called the storm, cytokine storm. That means a person who is having a less score may behave very, very differently with very severe symptoms, and a person with a very high score can be manifesting with very, very minimal or some moderate symptoms, or not so critical symptoms like falling of saturations, etc. So it is how the body responds to the COVID which matters. So keeping in mind, your doctor will be able to guide you and where to get your treatment. Now coming to the treatment, for the domiciliary management, we have some tablet forms and support from the vitamins and good nutrition and isolation and good hydration. So this is all required, but one should be vigilant. If your saturations are dropping, you need to go and attend a medical facility where you can get the oxygen support. In such circumstances, if you are negligent and you feel that you are very happy at home, in a mood to go to the hospital, the condition worsens and you may become very critical. So the caveats or the guides given by the doctor need to be followed very rigidly. Then coming to the moderate case presentation. That means you are having very minimal symptoms all the while and you are advised some treatment that can be done at home. But if your breathing rate is increasing or your recurring fever and your oxygen saturation is falling below 95, and then you need to get admitted for oxygen support. You require an oxygen bed, and where there is a provision, you have to get admitted, and ultimately you need to be treated under the supervision of the specialist doctors and the critical care team. Here, we all know the mild case does not require any much treatment, but there are some things which are important in the recent advances, that giving monoclonal antibodies as soon as you are diagnosed positive may be useful. Giving injection remdesivir, you all be hearing about remdesivir, yes. So may be useful. And depending upon the next step, that means if your oxygen saturations are not falling down, you may be given some maintenance with a blood thinner and proper steroid medication which need to be tapered as and when it is not required, or a low dose is required, and then your treatment for COVID is over in the mild case. But in the moderate case, where your presentation is maybe a bit late, and then you have all the problems of breathing difficulty and cough and the saturation is falling down and you requiring oxygen. In addition, you may be crossing the time of getting the remdesivir injection or the monoclonal antibodies. In such a case, you have only other options left over. You may be given the steroid, or you may be given the other advanced and expensive treatments, which may be really helping or sometimes not. A matter of chance and luck. So now you understand that early presentation to a doctor is ultimately the helping step for you and the doctor, who will be able to manage you at home. Then coming to the severe form, Severe form in the sense your oxygen saturations are coming down. Your HRCT scan is showing very more lesions. That means high score, what I meant to say, above 15/25. And your respiratory rate is more than 35. And more than 50 sometimes. And you're almost becoming unconscious, or you're having a lot of hair hunger. Then you require a lot of supportive care. We are nowadays hearing or listening about the HFNC, the high flow nasal cannula and oxygen, and then the next NIV, non-invasive ventilation, or NRBM in the beginning, and then routine oxygen, and then NRBM, and then HFNC, and then NIV, and then finally the ventilation. So ventilation or mechanical ventilation is a serious step. And you need to consider that it is the final only mechanism available, or the treatment available for you in this situation. But success rate is very less, and we need to be very cautious. Next step is ECMO. One person who is not getting recovered from ventilation, mechanical ventilation, he may be requiring ECMO, and the mortality is also high. And first of all, how much is the reserve lung, or which can help you out? Suppose the lung is normal, suppose the lung effect is very less, and the cytokine storm is more, and the damage in the lung is less, and you may have good result if with this ventilator as well as the ECMO. That is how the doctor assesses. So that is all a matter of chance and luck, and nothing much can be done if the person is not able to be recovered from any of these modalities. So finally, I would like to impress upon that be more vigilant, know yourself about the symptoms, subtle symptoms, even the lethargy, but think about honestly, introspection. Have you got exposed, a likely exposure to a COVID person, positive person? So if you have introspection that way, probably you will be able to save yourself and your family. So no matter, you should be using the mask, the social distancing, and the sanitization. So what is really important is knowing about the symptoms of COVID and be vigilant. Thank you one and all. Be safe, save yourself, save your family and friends. Thank you very much.